All right. Welcome. My name is Pastor B. Wallace.
And I'm Keontae McDonald, and you're tuned to Simplify Complexity, a relationship podcast.
That's right. So we want to welcome you to another day, another podcast. We are always honored that you would join us no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing. The first thing we want to encourage you to do is make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you hit those like buttons. Share this podcast. We have a really fun topic that we're going to do today. And we're going to kind of talk about exes, right? And then whenever you talk about exes, that makes for...
It always gets interesting.
It definitely gets interesting. And so this actually comes in from a listener, but we'll kind of get to the question that this listener had asked. But we're going to deal with basically, should you remain friends with your ex? Or should the person you're with remain friends with their ex? Exes, man. Ex. You know, does your wife have an ex that she's talking to, man?
Negative.
You know, no?
I mean, I just feel like, diving into this topic, like, most of the time, people are your exes for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
So...
Well, and it's interesting sometimes the reasons why we try to remain friends with our ex. And as we were kind of talking about, I mean, when you're talking about exes, there's so many areas and so many ways that you can go, because should you remain friends with your ex while single? Should you remain friends with your ex if you're courting or if you're dating somebody? Should you remain friends with your ex if you're married? Or should you have even women friends? So even if it's not your ex. And so let's get into this question. So we're really grateful because Sarah writes in, and for those that are listening, please write us. If you have comments, if you have questions, we love to hear from you. You can go to the website, simplifycomplexity.org, and there you can ask those questions. You can go to my Instagram, which is Brian E. Wallace. Don't forget the E. And Keontae?
Keontae McDonald, Keonte. McDonald, like the restaurant.
All right, so you can ask those questions there. Definitely follow us. But Sarah writes, she says, "Hi, I'm 20 years old and I have been in a relationship for 2 years now." So, I mean, first off, so we want to get context. So that means they got together when they're about 18. So they've been in a relationship for about 2 years, and that's a pretty long time. When you're talking about, you're definitely courting. And so one of the things that we kind of talk about a lot, with inside of our shows, is you have data collecting with your friends, and then you kind of have where you're in a committed relationship, and that's very clear as far as what your relationship status is and where you're going.
Right.
And so that's a whole other topic. Make sure you check out some of our other episodes when we talk about kind of that murky water, because sometimes you have people that they've been with each other for a year, but they don't even know what they are.
Yeah, it's still like kind of a gray area.
Yeah, it's like, well, what are we? Well, you ask him, he's like, we're friends. You ask her, she's like, we blew it up. Yeah.
We've been dating for about a year now.
Yeah, so they've been dating for about 2 years. She says, "This is my first relationship, and I'm finding it hard to navigate what is right and what can be potentially dangerous when courting." And that great question, because it really, especially when you're new to it, and you can really kind of struggle with what's right, what's dangerous. And so one thing that I've been struggling with is to understand or accept my boyfriend hanging out with other women. Well, I first want to let you know that you're not alone, because because there's quite a few women that would struggle with their boyfriend, their husband, hanging out with other women. It's often, it isn't often, okay, but I am uncomfortable when the topic arises. I usually am able to accept it in the end, but this time around, he wants to catch up with his ex-girlfriend. Right. Now, so I'm reading between the lines right now. And so one of the things that, she said was, at the end, I'm willing to accept it. So that means basically she's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And she brings it up. And then he's like, well, baby, it's this.
It ain't that serious.
It ain't that serious. We go way back. I'm talking about like 11th grade, 12th.
Right. No, you're right, though.
But the thing is that people will always kind of give reasons. And so basically she's uncomfortable, they're discussing it, and eventually he talks her into why she's tripping.
Right.
That's basically what she's saying. All right. So my question is, this is what she said, is it wrong to be friends with your ex while in a relationship? Then she goes on to say, what are the dangers of being friends with your ex? What are some boundaries that can be applied to friends with women? And am I overthinking this? What does the Bible say about it? Sorry for the long post. don't say sorry. We love the post. Really great post. And just know that there's so many people wondering and thinking about this same question.
Right.
So again, there's a lot to unpack. A lot, because we're dealing with exes, we're dealing with friends, with other women. So
it's fairly a new relationship, her first relationship.
So. I mean, yeah, a lot going on. You're still young, so then you're still kind of like, okay, this was my first relationship while I was 18. Is this really going to be the person I want to spend the rest of my life with? And we got to do a topic on that, because how many people, they stay with somebody because they've been together for so long, especially at an early age, and they feel like, okay, well, we've been together for 2-3 years since we were 16, so therefore we have to stay together. But thing is when you get older, your eyes, get
things you begin to see a lot.
You see better. So where you used to not understand what's important and what you need to look for, because we always talk about data collecting friendships. When you're not really sure what to look for, then you get older and you realize, like, wait a minute, we're not really compatible. And so the only reason you're gonna stay together is because
y'all just been together
since you were 16. So that's a whole other topic. So all right, man. See what you did with Sarah? Sarah, you got us talking about, like, this is going to be a long episode. We're probably going to split this up in two. All right, so let's deal with the first one. Is it wrong to be friends with your ex while in a relationship? And so let's go with the courting relationship right now.
Okay.
Are we just friends that are interested in one another and we're hanging out? Or have we taken this to the next level to where we are, you're mine, I'm yours for the most part, you're exclusively seeing me, I'm not exclusively seeing anybody else, and we're exclusive for the purpose of going someplace. I mean, that's how I view courting.
Yeah, and then in that context, oh man, it's a lot in this question.
Yeah, it is.
Because I want to know, like, is obviously she feels that way or whatnot, like, I'm serious about this or whatnot. Are you? Or like, do you have the context that, like, we're going to get married?
So that actually would be probably the first thing we would suggest for you. Is y'all need to sit down and have the conversation. Is like, where are we going? Are you seeing this relationship the same way that I'm seeing it? And if you're seeing it same way that I'm seeing it, that this isn't just some fling. That this isn't just, well, I'm still thinking about if I want to be in this.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole other, if you're still not sure, that's a whole other discussion. But if you're sure that you want to be in this committed relationship, then that's where the question comes in is why are you hanging out with your ex? Yeah, because let's be honest there. So you have this old fling, this old person that you were interested in, and you're basically saying, well, that's over. I'm now going in this different direction. I'm trying to build my life with this person. And so if that's where you're trying to build your life with this person, then we have to be mindful that other things are going to be complications. And why complicate a relationship any more than a relationship is already complicated? It's already complicated. And you have to realize that having your ex in the mix is only going to make things complicated, not only for you, but also for her.
Right.
And because whenever you have an ex, there's always some type of emotion there. There's always some type of connection. And so you have to be mindful that, well, wait a minute, why am I bringing this extra drama into this courting relationship? Now, I know some people will disagree, and I'll talk about why, at least. Go ahead. What you thought?
No. See, now I totally agree with that. Now, see, finishing my thought. Now, I do fall into the standard, not for myself, but for most people. If you're not married, then you have nothing to tie you down. But in this sense, if you're seeing somebody and if you're trying to further your life with this person, what's the I'm not seeing the benefit of catching up with your ex. I'm not seeing the benefit of bringing old bricks from your past relationship and trying to build a new house with those same bricks.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I just don't get it.
Where's really the benefit? And here's where I'll go to the next step is we understand that sometimes you have like baby mamas. You have, there's some people that you're attached to as a result of other things. So it's very difficult to completely cut off that connection, especially when you have a child with somebody.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you want to have healthy boundaries. And here's my question. Is he or she a priority in your life? And so when you're courting, you're basically saying that you are, when it comes to women, so let's just say in this situation, when it comes to other women, you are the most important woman in my life right now. But then, okay, because you're not married. All right, and we're kind of getting to married in just a moment. Because before you're married, I guess it might be your mama. All right. So the scripture that I want to refer to is where God says that when you do get married, that the two become one flesh. Do you have that up?
Right. I don't have
okay.
it.
Okay. But it's okay. So the thing is that the two become one flesh. So before marriage, you're still two separate items. But then once you do get married, you become one item. You become one flesh, and your priorities change. And so as two individuals, we're becoming one. But even in courting, you're still working toward that oneness. And so if that person is so important, if that woman is so important to you to where you're like, you know what, I see you as marriage material. I'm pursuing you for the purpose of marriage. Then why would I want to do anything that would jeopardize that? Why would I want to do anything that she feels uncomfortable with? And so obviously, and that's the thing that Sarah is saying, I'm uncomfortable with this. It's not comfortable. So why do I want to do anything that's going to necessarily make you feel uncomfortable? And here's the thing. Is my friend more important than the woman that I'm pursuing for marriage?
Right. That's kind of the bottom line right there. Because when you think about it, the Bible says to your treasures where your heart is where your treasure. Yeah. You know what I mean? So in the same sense of what you're saying, like if you're putting your best foot forward and you're pursuing this woman like she is marriage material, just like I said, what benefit do you gain from trying to peek back into your past with your ex or whatnot? Because I don't see, catching up with them, like what is there to be caught up on? Like,
I'm with a new woman
now. Get caught up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, that's where you headed.
But that was actually going to be my next thing is, let's just be honest. Let's just be real. That women and men are crafty. Mm-hmm. Okay? And the Bible talks a lot about the seductress. Okay? And warns us about, be mindful because they're smooth talking. Matter of fact, I think I have one of the scriptures. And so one of the scriptures that I wanted to kind of go through was in Proverbs chapter 6. And in Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23, it says, "For the commandment is a lamp and a teaching a light, and the reproof of discipline are the ways of life, to preserve you." Mm-hmm. So why do we want to have wisdom? Why do we want to really think through it? Like you're saying, like what is the benefit? Why are we still meeting?
Right.
And the thing is that it's to preserve you from the evil woman and from the evil man, from the smooth talking adulteress, and so man, there's some smooth talking brothers out there.
Oh, yeah.
There's some smooth talking women out there. And why even put yourself in a position to possibly get caught up?
Exactly.
Unless you're really not sure about what you're in.
Right. So that's
another discussion to be had.
Mm-hmm.
But if I keep going back to that same point, is if she's really the priority, then why do I want to jeopardize that?
Right, exactly. So it lays out that plane then, because if you're not totally serious or totally sure, then it's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you've already made a commitment to this person and say, hey, we're going ho, we're going this direction, you can't be falling out of line to go do something like that and try to build a whole nother relationship when you're trying to build this oneness over here.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. You're not even giving the person that you're pursuing or trying to pursue 100% of you because 20% of you is elsewhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Well, and then that actually kind of goes into marriage as we kind of take the same analogy or the same situation. So when you're in marriage, then it's definitely like you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, like you don't need to have any contact, none.
Right.
With your ex. And she actually mentions a really good word that I think is important for our listeners is boundaries. Mm-hmm. Boundaries maintain healthy relationships. I'll say that one more time. Boundaries maintain healthy relationships.
Right.
Because where you lack boundaries, then you have an abuse of privilege or an abuse of how people feel, and then that leads you into unhealthy relationships. Mm-hmm. And so you definitely want to set up boundaries. So this is something you have to discuss. Now this guy or so I want to encourage you should set up boundaries. You shouldn't wait for him or her, your girlfriend or your boyfriend, to come and say, well, you know what, I'm uncomfortable with this. You should be mindful of saying, I don't want to do anything to jeopardize. So therefore, I'm going to set up boundaries. And so for an ex, it's like, hey, we can be social, like hi, bye, if I see you out and about. But why are we going back and forth on Instagram, and talking in IG, and why are we calling one another? Why are we text? Like that's a boundary where you have to say, we're not together anymore.
Yeah.
Basically, can we be real? You had your chance.
Right, like what are you doing?
Yeah, you had your chance, and whether or not if I broke up with you or you broke up with me, that's over.
Right.
And I'm with somebody now. If you're not with somebody else, then that's different.
Right.
But if you're with somebody else and you're courting with somebody else, then that's something that you have to really be mindful of and really say, you know what, I need to set up some new boundaries. Now, when you get married, those boundaries become even deeper. Those boundaries become even more committed. And because that's truly where you are now one flesh. And after God, your spouse is the second most important thing in your life.
Like when you enter into marriage, you have to know once you enter the marriage, you subscribe to just like, I can't let anything infiltrate this.
Yes.
That's what you're subscribing to.
Yep.
So just like you said, like for instance, I'll use myself as an example. I don't follow none of my exes on social media. I don't know where they living at. You know what I mean? I don't know any of this stuff, and it's for the betterment of my marriage.
Yeah.
Number one, like I wish I would tell my wife, hey man, you know
who I'm
bringing. You know what I mean? Like that's just crazy. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, when it all comes really down to benefit, like. You know what I mean? Me investing in my wife, me investing time in my marriage, that's a benefit to my marriage.
Yes.
It's going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
Me going outside and saying, I ran to my ex last week. I think I want to catch up with her, at Starbucks or something like that. There's no benefit in that for me.
Yeah.
There's no benefit in that for my marriage, no benefit in that for my kids, nothing. You know what I mean? So...
Well, and it comes down, and not only is it benefit, but it also shows how much do I value the person I'm with.
Mm-hmm.
You want to show value, and we can say value. We can say, I love you. We can say a bunch of words, you're more important than me, but your actions speak louder than your words.
Right.
And so when your actions are showing that, wait a minute, I'm doing something that you're uncomfortable with. I'm doing something that is hurting you. Am I really valuing your feelings in these moments? Mm-hmm. Now, and mind you, there are situations where you want to talk through where somebody can see something or feel something a certain way, and it can be irrational. But in this situation, this is something where it's a matter of saying who's more important, who's the woman that's more important, who's the man that's more important, and is this friendship, this ex, more important than my current?
Right. I think also too, speaking to the person, the man or the woman who's like even going through this in their head right now, like, my ex wants to hang out. I don't really see the problem with it. You know what I mean? First off, you gotta ask yourself.
Red flag.
Yeah, it's a red flag all over the place. But first off, you gotta ask yourself, okay, they're my ex for a reason. Like, what are they your ex for? Often it's because either you weren't compatible, maybe they were a toxic person or something like that. So that, like, why would you even want to invite that back into your life? Like I said, especially if they're a toxic person, if they have bad characteristics, because now it comes down to the point of, the scripture of 1 Corinthians 15:33, and it says, don't be fooled, bad company corrupts good morals. Right. So why are you encompassing your life with that the toxic person and bad characteristics? You know what I mean? That's could eventually become you.
Right. Well, take a situation where maybe you weren't the one who broke it off. Mm-hmm. And so that happens sometimes where somebody else breaks something off, and then they realize later after you with somebody else, like, dang, like that was a good thing.
Like, oh man,
you want to go hang out? Like, no, like, come on, don't fall for the okie doke, So
that's why I said don't be fooled. That's what I love about the story. That first part. Don't be fooled. That's deceptive.
Yeah. So and then you gotta trust a woman's instincts, when it comes to this.
Right.
And so that man.
Good stuff, man. I think this was an interesting topic.
Yeah.
Man.
So Sarah, thank you so much for writing in. If you enjoyed yourself, if you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like buttons. Please subscribe, review us. We love to see the reviews. If you haven't done so already, if you've been subscribing, you've been listening, but you haven't had a chance to review, please go do that. Leave a review. We want to hear from you if you have any questions or thoughts for a topic or something that we would like for us to answer. And here's the thing: sometimes we deal with things in general. and you have something specific. If you have something specific, we want to hear it, because just like we got really detailed with what Sarah was dealing with. So she has plenty of information to help her specifically as far as what she's going through. So we want to know the same thing for you. So if you do have information, questions, we want to hear from you. All right. God bless you. God keep you. Until next time.